Nerdy is defined as someone characterized by an obsessive interest in something. Xbox, Marvel, technology, D&D, Lord of the Rings, escape rooms, Pokemon, Funko Pop, Star Wars, PlayStation, comic books, Magic the Gathering, Nintendo, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers. All of that is Tech D Rob, host of the Nerd News Podcast, your source for everything nerdy.
I realize you guys are all nerds.
And this is the Nerd News Podcast.
Welcome to another edition of the Nerd News Podcast. It is for August 8th, currently August 7th upon recording. You know how this works. So if anything is breaking on August 8th, sorry, it's just not going to be included. That's just not how this works. This has to be done ahead of time. As you can see, I'm working from home. So, you know, just cut me some slack. And I'm sorry there wasn't a new Nerd News Podcast last week. That's simply because I was getting everything prepped for the soft launch of Ace TJ TV back on YouTube live every morning. On last Monday, I was working until about 8 or 9 p.m. getting that all sorted out for everybody. So you're welcome. I mean, I guess if you watch, if you don't, then I'm sorry. But either way, thanks for joining me this week on the Nerd News Podcast. So I have a lot of movies to review because it's been a while since I've done a podcast. 2 weeks. So I've seen, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies. And I'll tell you about them and what I thought of each one individually. And we'll, of course, talk about some new nerdy news. Very little of it, to be honest with you, but there is some new nerdy news. So let's start with the quick hits on PlayStation 5 and the current, I'm sorry, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S and PC is the game Gourd, which I've never heard of. Also today, Tower of Fantasy on PlayStation 5. Again, a game I've never heard of. WrestleQuest was on current and next-gen Xbox and PlayStation, along with Switch and PC. And I'm curious about that one at least. 30XX, if that's what it's called, is on Switch and PC tomorrow. Then Thursday, Atlas Fallen is on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Stray makes its way to Xbox consoles, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox One. I played it a little bit on PS5. It's okay. It's a fun little game. And then Stray Gods, not just Stray. Stray comes out as well, but Stray Gods, the role-playing musical, is on current and next-gen Xbox and PlayStation, along with Switch and PC. And then on Friday, House Flipper for PlayStation VR consoles, 1 and 2 apparently. In DVD this week is oh man, you're in luck. Fast X makes its way to DVD, and I would assume Blu-ray, digital 4K Blu-rays and such. You know, just so many nice things to say about that franchise. It's just peak. Just kidding. I hated it, and I hate that I still watch them all. But I gotta know how it ends now at this point. Why would I stop now? Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse makes its way to digital, which is very exciting. It's it was in theaters quite a while ago, so it's taken it a little bit to make its way to here. So that's cool. The Last Voyage of the Demeter is in theaters. That stars Sir Davos Seaworth, whatever. I don't. But he was, you know, in Game of Thrones. And he has a real name that I can't. Liam Cunningham. Did I just come up with that off the top of the dome? Liam Cunningham. I'll be damned. Look at me. Sir Davos Seaworth, played by Liam Cunningham. And it looks pretty good. It's about Dracula, I'm pretty sure. If it ain't about Dracula, it's about a Dracula. A vampire, if you will. So I'm going to take a quick break on the Nerd News Podcast here. But when I get back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about 5 different movies. 5 of them. 5. Look at that autofocus. Working good. 5 movies. And if you're listening to the audio version of this, I just held my hand up to the camera a lot, and I'm stupid. So that's coming up next.
At TechD_Rob on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. More Nerd News Podcast next. Follow TechD_Rob on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. At TechD_Rob. This is the Nerd News Podcast.
So I'm quite sure you just heard it say, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. TechD_Rob. It needs to be updated, I guess, because Twitter's no longer a thing. It's called X. And I also need to add my Threads account, my TikTok account, all of which are either TechD_Rob or TechD_Rob on all of those platforms. So it's Threads, Instagram, Twitch, Kick, TikTok, X, all the platforms. Not Facebook. I have a personal Facebook page, but I don't use it for show stuff. So, and if someone I don't actually know in real life friends me on there, I don't accept it. So, if you've ever sent me a friend request on Facebook and you just didn't get accepted, it's because I don't know who you are. To be honest with you, I don't accept. Because I mean that's where I give my family updates, and my family updates me. That's the only reason I use Facebook. To be honest with you. So that's so yeah, all those different social media things. Before we get to the movie reviews, Modern Warfare 3 was announced. I mean, we saw it was coming, basically, because Modern Warfare 2 left us on a cliffhanger. I did play the story mode of Modern Warfare 2. It was a lot of fun. I highly recommend if you played Modern Warfare 2 to check out the story mode at the very least. Modern Warfare 3 picks up where that one left off, which is at least it's going in a different trajectory from the original Modern Warfare series, so that's at least good. Some of the same characters and such, but it is different. So don't think that the story mode is just repetitive, because it's not. I mean, they've done something different with it. Essentially, I'd like to equate it to the Final Fantasy VII remake, but it's just not that much of a masterpiece that the Final Fantasy VII game was. But yeah, you should check it out at least. Magic the Gathering. I should have. Let's see. Can I zoom in on this? Let me just make it bigger. So, Magic the Gathering released their... What the hell? Okay, I can read it now. Sorry. So, over the weekend, they released a schedule for 2024 of upcoming releases for the Magic the Gathering game. First, we have in quarter 1 of 2024, Ravnica Remastered, which is pretty exciting. Everybody loves the realm of Ravnica, Return to Ravnica, etc., etc. Murders of Karlov Manor in quarter 1 as well. Also in quarter 1, a Magic the Gathering focused around Fallout, the world of Fallout, the video game. Now, I'm curious if it's like just commander decks, if it's a full-blown set, or exactly what the plan is, but it's not an IP that I thought would make its way to Magic, to be honest with you, but here we are. I mean, Stranger Things and The Walking Dead have made it so far, so I guess it's not too crazy. Outlaws of Thunder Junction is coming in quarter 2 of 2024, which is pretty exciting. Modern Horizons 3, which Modern Horizons 2 is one of my favorite sets I've ever played in a limited fashion. I was able to draft slivers, and it was incredible. Modern Horizons 3 makes its way in quarter 2 as well. And then quarter 3, we have 2 standard Magic the Gathering sets, which are Bloom Burrow and Duskmorn House of Horror. Those are the standard Magic the Gathering sets that will be coming out. Should be pretty cool. And then also in quarter 3, before those two, is a Ubisoft game. Or Ubisoft, I don't know how you pronounce it. Called Assassin's Creed. It's making its way to Magic the Gathering, which is exciting. I'm more excited about the Magic the Gathering sets that are based in the Magic the Gathering worlds. But it's not like I won't play Assassin's Creed in Magic. I'm curious at the very least. So yeah, that's the Magic the Gathering news. Baldur's Gate 3 is a game that I've just started getting into. I can give you more information about it next week. But I played it for 2 or 3 hours yesterday. Went through the tutorial stage, essentially. Made my character a halfling rogue, because I don't like nat 1s, which if you're familiar with D&D 5e, you re-roll ones with halflings because of the lucky feat. Now, it's not everyone ever. It's just, in certain situations, they re-roll ones. So yeah, it's a really, really cool game so far. Look to get more hours into it right after I finish recording this podcast, to be honest with you. So that's on my agenda. So now we have movies to review, and as you know how I like to review movies, from worst to first. So worst on my list is The Haunted Mansion, starring Owen Wilson, Rosario Dawson. What's his name? He was in He was in Atlanta Haunted Mansion. It's going to bother me if I don't look him up. He's a really good actor. It's a shame he was in this hunk of junk. Lakeith Stanfield is his name. Lakeith Stanfield, Owen Wilson, Rosario Dawson, Dan Levy, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jared Leto, Tiffany Haddish. Woo, boy, it's just filled with big names, right? You'd think, wow, this can't be too terrible. But it is. It's very, very bad. Wow, it is just not good at all. Nothing, literally nothing was good as this. Good for this. I don't even know what I was about to say there. But it's I fell asleep on purpose in the movie, if that gives you any idea. Now, I fell asleep on purpose because I did have another movie coming up after this. So I was like, I'll get a nap here so I don't fall asleep in this one because it's sure to be better. And I was right. It was definitely better. But yeah, it just wasn't, there's nothing good about it. I had no nice things to say. So yeah, that was the worst of the 5. Next worst of the 5 is Barbie. It's not a bad movie. It was fun. It was funny. Most of the funny stuff was in the trailers. Obviously, it's not a movie that was made for me, so I can't really give it a fair rating. But as a person who just enjoys movies in general, I liked it. It was okay. It is significantly better than Haunted Mansion, so that tells you that the next 3 are going to be incredible movies. So the next movie on my list is called Talk to Me. It is a horror movie from people who have a YouTube page. I can't remember but it's Australian based. And all the cast, I believe, is Australian, including the mother of 2 of the children in the movie is played by Miranda Otto. And if you know your Lord of the Rings, which if you look on my shelf, there's my Hobbit extended edition, which I don't know why I bought that. I'm never going to watch the extended edition of the Hobbit. And Lord of the Rings, the extended edition. Oh, and then the Hobbit deck building game right there. But anyway, I digress. Eowyn is who Miranda Otto played in Lord of the Rings. And she came up on the screen, and I couldn't place it on my own. I had to look it up. It's unfortunate. I hate when that happens. But it is it was cool. As soon as I realized, I was like, oh, that's where I know her from. And I just rewatched all the Lord of the Rings movies. So Talk to Me. What it is there's kids gather around, and they have a porcelain-looking hand that when you hold hands with it, like you're shaking someone's hand, and you say the phrase, talk to me, a ghost appears in front of you. And that's not where it ends. That on its own would be scary, of course. But you then tell the ghost, I let you in, and they take over your body. And you convulse and choke for a few seconds, and then that ghost has taken over that person's body. But the premise of the movie is that you can only do that for 90 seconds or you're messed up for good. So obviously, some ones get messed up for good. And the movie spirals into one of the craziest movies I've seen in a long time, and it was incredible. And if that tells you anything about the quality of the top 2 movies, this was number 3 on my list. And I would highly recommend that you see Talk to Me. It was very, very good. Superb acting from everyone involved. Of course, Miranda Otto was great. Eowyn doesn't disappoint. But yeah, so that was number 3 on the list. Number 2 on my list is the movie Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is a Christopher Nolan masterpiece. A 10 out of 10 movie. And I'm not joking. Which means my next movie is also a 10 out of 10. Keep that in mind. I guess I would have to say that this is a 9.9 out of 10 if I'm not putting them on equal footing. But I will say, Oppenheimer had no pacing issues. It was 3 hours long. Never felt like it. Always bated breath whenever I was trying to keep up with what was going on, anticipating the next scene. The whole movie was superbly acted. If what is his name? Oh gosh, Cillian Murphy. If Cillian Murphy does not get an Oscar nomination for this, something's completely wrong with the whole world. Robert Downey Jr. is incredible in the movie. I could go through the list of all these actors. Matt Damon's incredible in this movie. I don't really like Matt Damon that much, but Matt Damon was incredible in this. Emily Blunt, incredible in this. I mean, Josh Peck. Yeah, Drake and Josh Peck, incredible in this. Everybody perfectly cast. 9.9 out of 10. I mean, when I would, if this other movie hadn't come out, it would be a 10 out of 10 for me right now. But I mean, if you'll spare me a second here, I will say that this is definitely a 10 out of 10. But I just enjoy the next movie a lot more. So if you're on the fence about Oppenheimer, don't be. Go see it. It's a cinematic masterpiece. That's not putting it lightly either. I mean, that's not being too. What's the word I'm looking for? That's not being too serious, or I mean, it's no facetiousness here. It's definitely a 10 out of 10 movie. So, what is my number one movie? My 10 out of 10, maybe 11 out of 10 movie, I guess, if I want to go that way. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Now, as an enjoyer of every single Ninja Turtles movie that's ever been released, I'm talking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, I don't remember the subtitle, but it's about the ooze, with Toka and Razor. Number 3, where the turtles go back in time. It's an awful movie, but I love it. The first animated movie, TMNT, I loved it. The there may have been another animated TMNT movie, but I don't remember. The new live action movies. Number 1 was great. Number 2, awesome, loved it. Was really hoping they'd continue it. Didn't do so well in the box office. That's fine. So we're restarting again, which I don't mind. We're restarting again, and these turtles are actually teenagers for the first time on screen. Maybe in original Ninja Turtles they were teenage-ish, but these are true teenage kids in turtle bodies. Well, it's not how that works, but they're teenagers, and they act like teenagers. They quote reference TikToks all the time. They're not particularly great at fighting. They're pretty good. And all the while does not introduce Shredder in the main movie. Shredder is not the opposing villain at the start of it, which Shredder's an important villain, of course, for the Ninja Turtles, but it's something that can be brought up later. Brought into the fold later. And that's what they did. Of course, you have to, with any movies these days, any sort of remake type situation, they don't jump right to the main villain. Like The Dark Knight. That was the second one when they introduced the Joker. In Batman, Superman, the new Superman movies. General Zod was the first villain, not Lex Luthor. In today's society, you have to build, in today's movie watching society, you have to build movie franchises. That's how they work. They're always looking for more than one movie these days. Especially with cornerstone IPs like the Ninja Turtles. Hello, Evie. Cornerstone movies like the Ninja Turtles, they basically, they can't just start off with the big bad. Unless it's someone that's going to continue to be part of the story. But if they introduce Shredder and they eliminate Shredder already, he just comes back later. It's better for storytelling for them to do it this way. So that's what they did. And I completely agree. Loved it. Loved every minute of it. The main villain of this one is Superfly, voiced by Ice Cube. Awesome villain, first of all. And I just can't recommend the movie enough. If you like the Ninja Turtles even slightly, you'll love this movie. Seth Rogen has not done you wrong with this movie. He has done so right. I can't even believe I'm saying it. It's so good. It is so good. I love the movie so much. Anyway, that's the Nerd News Podcast for August 8th. I about said 7th. Again, I'm sorry. I just recorded it. For August 8th, I am your host, Tech D Rob. Follow me on all those platforms that I've mentioned previously. I'll mention again, Twitter, X, Instagram, Twitch, Kick, TikTok. I bet I have a Pinterest. I don't know. All those different things. TechD_Rob, wherever you might find me. Thank you for joining me. And that's the Nerd News Podcast. I know I'm supposed to look into the screen when I do that, but I just didn't feel like doing it. That's the Nerd News Podcast.
That's it for this week's Nerd News Podcast. Follow TechD Rob on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at TechD_Rob. Subscribe now. More nerd news next week.